What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Below Average Brothers podcast. We've got a good one for you today. It's me, Jax, Ross, normal crew here tonight. We're going to go full college football episode for, is this the first time we've ever done that? Complete college football? Yeah, it's a huge, Thanksgiving is a huge week for college football. It's rivalry weekend, huge games this weekend. First off, led by Bedlam. Huge game in this podcast right here. The lone Sooner fan, I'm outnumbered. OU and OSU both. OSU won really convincingly this week, shutting out Tech. It was Tech, correct? They shut out Texas Tech. Yeah, 23-0. And it probably should have been way worse. They had to kick a couple field goals that it probably could have easily been 38-0 instead of 23. OU beat Iowa State 28-21, but I feel like that game was never really in concern. I feel like OU kind of had a handle on it the whole time. So college football playoff rankings just came out. It'll be number 10 Oklahoma versus number 7 Oklahoma State in Stillwater. What did y'all think about OSU this week? And I know Jax, you got to watch it.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, a few missed opportunities in the red zone, but outside of that, they really look good. Defense, we sound like a broken record at this point. Shut them out. That's just impressive regardless. Same situation with TCU kid. Freshman came in the week before, had a massive week. They're hyping him up. OSU absolutely gives them the work. Defense, you can't say enough about them. You really can't. And I think looking forward to the OU matchup, the Sooners have really struggled. In my opinion, they've struggled. I don't know how you take it, Bryce, but I think they've struggled these last few weeks, really trying to find something that's concrete. The run game was good last game, but I think Caleb Williams threw for like 95 yards or something.
Yeah, I definitely think they've looked rough the last couple weeks. It was nice to see them have over 200 plus yards on the ground last week, but continue.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is that ain't happening. OSU.
No, not real.
I don't think we've allowed over 200 yards rushing in this since Iowa State. Like in all the games combined since Iowa State, I don't know if we've allowed 200 rushing yards. So I'm just gonna tell you right now, that's not gonna happen. Bang bong. Yeah, it's not happening. But I think OSU right now just looks better. I do. I think OU really doesn't have much of an identity. For a minute there, it kind of looked like OU's identity was Caleb Williams, but he really hasn't looked that good. He's looked good, but not great like we thought he was in these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, go ahead, Ross. What you got on OSU?
Yeah. Like Jack said, broken record, you know what I'm saying? And we can talk all we want, about Bedlam, but the talk's over. It's here, The better team's going to win this weekend, and I'm excited for it. I've been talking trash pretty heavily lately, but I really am confident in this OSU defense and this OSU team. Probably the most confidence I've had since I couldn't even tell you, to be honest. I think OU's down and I think we're up. I think we'll pull this one out.
Yeah, in our script, what I was thinking about today is this is possibly the biggest bedlam of our lifetimes for sure, and quite possibly the last. I read something today that when OU goes to the SEC, they may not play this game anymore. So
is OU going to buy out though? That's the question.
Everything I've heard is Texas is buying both of them out to get gone. Wow. Texas knows they can't go by themselves, and they want out bad. So they may
trying to get beat by Kansas, basically.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? What are they, 4-6? Geez, they think they're going to do better in the SEC. God.
But is this the biggest one y'all can remember? Most at state.
Yeah, for sure. Both teams still have playoff hopes.
Maybe 2011, but I don't even remember. I was 11 years
OU wasn't
old,
that good. 2011. I don't think.
I think that was probably Landry Jones playing quarterback. So no, they probably weren't that good. Number 7, number 10, OSU wins. OSU's already in the Big 12 championship game. They're clinched. They're in. OU wins. They're in. OU loses. It's OSU Baylor for the Big 12 title.
When was the last time OU wasn't in a Big 12 championship? I was trying to think about that.
Well, since they brought back
an actual game.
title game, they
Since they
haven't missed
brought,
one.
yeah.
They haven't
So
missed
they've
one.
won. How many is that? How many is that straight?
We've
And
won
they've won
6 in
all
a
of
row.
them, haven't they?
We've
Yeah,
won
I was
6 in a
about to
row.
say.
And I think we even won the one right before, because OU and OSU played for that de facto title back when I think
Before
it
they
was
brought it
Baker's
back.
freshman year.
Before they brought it back or
Yeah,
whatever.
before they brought it back. Yeah. When it was like 55-48 there in
Yeah, Mason Rudolph
Stillwater.
versus Baker, I think. Yep.
Yeah. Marquise Brown down the sideline for
Hollywood's
80
yeah,
something.
coming out party.
Yeah. I think that was the last time they didn't play a Big 12 championship game. But yeah, OU's won 6 in a row. So it would be huge if OSU, but it's also huge. I mean, for playoff stakes, if OU beats OSU back to back, I mean, that would be massive for
Yeah.
playoff implications. I mean, this game and the game we'll talk about next are, well, almost feel like college football playoff quarterfinal games. You know, like you got to win to even have a chance, you know. And the next one, we'll skip over the Oregon game just since I brought it up, but Ohio State beat the dog out of Michigan State on Saturday, 56-7. I mean, just laid the wood. And, you know, the offense, we've known the offense all year long was, you know, elite, but they held Kenneth Walker to like 24 yards rushing, which I don't think anybody had held him to under 100 the whole year. So, I mean, but they have, you know, like I said, this is a big weekend for college football. They have Michigan this week in Ann Arbor on the road. I mean, that game, if OU OSU is a quarterfinal game, Michigan State is just as well. I mean, Ohio State moved up to 2 tonight, and Michigan's at 5. So, I mean, 2 versus 5, winning you're in more than likely. I mean, it feels that way unless you go on and lose the Big Ten championship game. But the winner of this game is in the Big Ten championship game, probably playing Wisconsin. You in the Big Ten, you're in. So, I mean, winner of this game goes and wins 2 in a row, they're in. So, I mean, that's a freaking massive game. We're going to make some picks later, and that's definitely one of the games we're picking. But, I mean, do y'all see, I mean, Ohio State's 17-3 in the last 20 meetings. Do y'all see that ending?
No, I don't. You know, I don't think this. I think you made a good point about that Ohio State defense stepping up against that Michigan State offense, and I think that Michigan offense is very similar to the Michigan State offense. You know, they play freaking pro style football, single back. They hand it to their dude about 30 times a game. You know, they try to wear you out, and it didn't work. It didn't work if you watch the Michigan State game. And Kenneth Walker's the best back in college football. I mean, if he can't do it, you know.
I think the biggest difference between Michigan State is Michigan kind of hits you with that 2 running back system with Corum, and I don't even remember the other guy's name right now, but
yeah.
Blake Corum's, you know, a little speed back, and then they kind of got a power back. They call themselves Lightning and Thunder.
And they also got the 2 best edge rushers in football.
Aiden Hutchinson and I don't remember the other one's name, but Aiden Hutchinson's projected like the number 3 pick in the draft.
Yeah, he
so they'll get some pressure. I mean, I think this game will be close. I don't think it'll be 56-7, but I mean, Ohio State especially has Jim Harbaugh's number. Like the dude has yet to beat them. He's been there 6 years? This is the 6th year, something like that, and he's yet to beat them
since 2015.
Yeah, he's been there since 2015. So this would be his 6th matchup, and he's 0-5. He's yet to beat the Buckeyes. I mean, this is the year to beat them. I mean, at home, you've got a really good football team. If he can't beat them now, he probably can't ever beat them.
But that Ohio State offense is just ridiculously explosive. That's what I think.
Another thing is Garrett Wilson didn't play last week, right? Or is he?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't know if he played, but it doesn't matter really.
I mean, even if he's out,
it's
yeah,
they're stacked.
Yeah, they're stacked. And Travion Henderson.
Yeah, I mean that's like a 5-headed monster. You know, Jackson Smith and Najibba, Travion Henderson, CJ Stroud, Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson. Like those dudes would be the man on any team.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think Garrett Wilson this weekend, was it Wilson or Olave that broke their?
It was Olave.
Olave broke their all-time touchdown record. Yeah. I mean, he's been there for 14 years, so it's not shocking that he broke the record.
Thanks.
But
yeah, that is true.
The last college football game from this past weekend that we're going to talk about was the reason that all of this got opened up is because Oregon lost. If Oregon would have won, we'd still be sitting at the same top 4 teams, keep on trekking along. But Oregon got just railed by Utah, 38-7. It wasn't even. Was it 38-7? Am I that score correct? I believe
I think so. They may have got a late
38-7.
touchdown. I
They
don't know.
didn't get shut out, Sling Blade. They didn't get shut out. It was 38-7.
Yeah, they didn't.
And I get shut out.
But we all kind of knew they were fraud. At least I thought Oregon was a fraud. I thought they were just coasting through that really easy Pac-12, and they got just pooped by Utah. Wasn't ever close.
Mhm.
I mean, I looked up at the ticker. It was 14-0, and then right before the half, they had a punt blocked for a touchdown to make it, I think, 28-0. Wasn't ever close, and I'm glad to see Oregon gone because, I mean, this really opens up the door for, Cincinnati got in tonight. Cincinnati was the highest ever ranked Group of 5 team since the history of the college football playoffs. So, and I still think it's going to take a Cincinnati loss for anything to open up. But speaking of Cincinnati, I was dead wrong. They
Yeah, you couldn't have been more.
destroyed SMU. I predicted an SMU win last week, and I think that final score is like 45-2. It was embarrassing, 45-3, I think. I mean, but
Drilled them.
Houston's still winning this week. I'm still riding that way.
I don't think they play Houston this week.
Or not
I
this
thought
week.
they did,
They're
but
playing Houston
the
the
championship.
championship game is
Yeah,
when I'm
Fair enough.
I think they play Eastern Carolina on Friday night this week. So it should be easy dubs. Friday night game. It seems like a Friday night game always ends up in an upset. So
That would be
game?
loss.
Trap game?
trap game. Let me make sure that's a Friday night game. Make sure I'm not saying that wrong. Yeah. No, it's a Friday afternoon at 2:30. Friday afternoon at 2:30. So, I mean, we're looking at a trap game, basically. But as we've been talking about the, college football ranking this whole time throughout the whole show. I'll just go ahead and say what it was. Georgia won. Ohio State jumped Alabama at going to 2. Bama's at 3. Cincy at 4. Michigan at 5. Notre Dame 6. OSU 7. Baylor at 8. Ole Miss at 9. and Oklahoma at 10. Did y'all think? I really want to ask y'all about OSU. Did y'all think that OSU would jump Notre Dame, or did you think they're about where you thought they would be?
No, I didn't think we jumped Notre Dame. I mean, I didn't really think there was a reason for us to jump Notre Dame, but I do think we're better than Notre Dame. I mean, I was talking to Bryce about it when it was just me and Bryce in a little pre-lobby before this. I think it's going to be interesting, because more than likely Notre Dame's they're not going to lose another one because they don't play a conference championship. I don't know if they have a bye this week or who they play, but it's probably more likely to be Popcorn State.
I think they play Stanford.
Okay, that's not bad then. That's not bad.
No, Stanford's 3-8. So.
Oh wow, but Stanford did beat Oregon, so they can do it.
Stanford beat Oregon, but Stanford's also 3-8. So
okay,
it's not like it's the Stanford.
It's basically
of
it's Popcorn State. It's Popcorn State again. So Notre Dame's more than likely they're going to finish a 1 loss. Say hypothetically, regardless, OU or OSU, either one of them, went out 1 loss. That's going to be interesting to me. I would like to see what the committee does, without Notre Dame having a championship game. And I know they straight dissing on the Big 12 this year. So I'm ready to see, how that plays out.
It's crazy. Like you say they're dissing on the Big 12 and they are, but and everybody says, oh, the Big 12 is such a bad conference. We've got 3 teams inside the top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, OSU, Baylor, and OU all inside the top 10. And, me and Jack were talking about the other day, Iowa State's had some close, Iowa State's a good football team. I know they're 6-5, but they're probably the best 6-5 team in the country. They've had, they lost to, I think we said they lost to Iowa, they lost to Baylor, they lost to OU. They had 2 bad losses in Texas Tech and
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
So, they've had some bad losses, but they got beat by some really good football teams, and they beat OSU. They beat a really good football team. So, there's some good teams. Like me and Jack's talking about, he thought the top 5 teams in the Big 12 would go beat Notre Dame any given Saturday.
For sure. I can tell you right now, Oak State would whoop Notre Dame, not even contest. OU would also whoop Notre Dame. Baylor, all 3 of those teams would whoop Notre Dame. I think Iowa State would beat Notre Dame. I think
Tech could possibly beat Notre Dame.
I think Tech might beat Notre Dame.
Or TCU.
Kansas State would probably beat Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe even Kansas.
Bing bong.
Kansas. Yeah,
bing bong.
Byron. Kansas. The Big 12, and the sad thing is OU and Texas are leaving. I think for the next however long Oklahoma State stays in it, Oklahoma State's going to run the Big 12. You know, I think they're going to run the Big 12. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be saying much. If the Big 12 is disrespected right now, I can only imagine how bad it's going to be once Oklahoma and Texas leave. But I mean, you're adding Cincinnati, I guess. You're adding
Yeah, I mean,
top five
if you
team in
look
the
at
country.
it, though, BYU's been fairly good this year. I don't know if they lost last week, but they've been ranked all year.
I think they're still one loss. I think they're like the 12th or 13th ranked team in the country. So
yeah, I mean, that's
They're
a good
13.
add too, I guess.
They're sitting at
adding-
13.
Houston's a one loss. I mean, they're ranked still.
yeah. And I mean, you're looking at all of those programs are well coached. I mean, Luke Fickell's probably, we're going to talk about a little coaching carousel in a second. He could easily get hired at any of these schools we're going to talk about. You know, Dana Holgorsen coached in the Big 12 at West Virginia for, I don't know, 10 years. I mean, it felt like he was there forever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, BYU's had that same guy, that Hawaiian guy. I don't know his name. I can't pronounce it. But
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
he's been there forever. So I mean, I think those three teams will come in. It's just not the glitz and glamour
yeah.
of
But I mean,
Oklahoma
Texas
and
hasn't been Texas since, you know,
I mean, Texas
since
hasn't
Mac
been
Brown.
good since like 2010.
yeah,
It's
since
been
Matt
like
Brown. That was the last
11
time.
years. Yeah, Colt McCoy was their last.
Yeah,
their
and not
last
only
chance
they
to
haven't
be
even
good.
been decent really. Their only year was that they're halfway decent was whenever old Sammy said we're back and they finished 9-3. I
We're
think.
back.
And
And they
they-
beat who?
they-
Georgia?
Georgia in
Georgia.
the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, who
Yeah,
said
basically we're
everybody?
back.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Speaking of Texas and that coaching carousel I was talking about, they're one of the teams on here. Do y'all think he gets fired? I mean, seven losses.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think he
no,
will get fired.
no.
Just because I think, you know, me and my dad have talked about this. I think if it's 3 years down the road and it's with his recruits, I think, yeah. But I mean, these aren't his guys, you know. I think that's a big deal because people, I mean, if you're a head coach, you want to have an identity and you want your players to, you know, fit that identity and play into that role. And, you know, he's kind of doing it with whatever he can get right now, you know.
With
They
Herman's
still
guys.
have good players. Yeah, with Herman's guys, you know. It's not a scheme.
I agree. You know, jump back to the college football playoff talk before we get into the next thing. But I mean, OSU is setting at 7 today, but you can really look at it as they're setting at 6 because Ohio State or Michigan, one of them's coming out.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm ready to see how this weekend shakes out because I think this weekend may be even bigger than conference championship weekend. You know, Alabama and Auburn play. I know Bo Picks ain't playing, but Auburn always seems to find a way to win that game when they're not supposed to. When things matter, it seems like
They're
Auburn,
on a 3-game lose streak, though.
they are.
Exactly.
But it's see that's like the perfect scenario. Normally, okay, Auburn's lost 4 or 5 in a row. Alabama needs to win, you know, to keep their hopes alive. Auburn plays spoiler. I mean, that's just the way that game works. It seems like,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
go
Ross.
go ahead if you're gonna keep on that. I just got a question for you, Bryce, after.
Go ahead. Take.
Oh, yeah.
Fire
So
away.
before we go to the next one, I just want to ask you about your UTSA Roadrunners and their close call this
Oh.
weekend.
Oh, put them at 1. If we were doing our rankings today, they would be number 1 in the country.
They
I'd like
almost
to-
lost. I don't even. Who are they
Yeah.
playing? Popcorn State.
They were
Every team that plays Popcorn State.
Yeah, pretty much. So
But
sitting
I
at
mean,
22 though.
Sitting at 22, they won off of a tip pass like a boss. I mean, if only
Bing bong.
only the greatest teams in the history of the world win on a tip pass. So
Yeah, he meant for that to happen, basically.
yeah,
Bing
I mean,
bong.
I haven't checked his completion percentage, but I'm sure it's still at 69%. So still the
Nice.
greatest quarterback in the country. So yeah, UTSA, respect at 11-0. Respect at 11-0. I also seen today watching during the broadcast of this is the first time George has ever gone on 11-0 through an SEC. I didn't hardly believe that,
Yeah, that's kind of hard to believe.
especially considering they're in that weak SEC East with nobody in it. Kentucky and Missouri and Florida. Florida's terrible.
Yeah.
Speaking of Florida, their head coach got fired.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen. Bye-bye. See you, pizza.
Rip.
Gone.
You know, weren't they like
Gone
super
forever.
high on him too? Like
I mean,
like
yeah, when
the
they
fan
hired him,
base was really high on him.
didn't he? He came
I
from
think up until this year,
Mississippi
really.
State, right?
I don't know where he
was-
came from, but
I believe he was like the head coach when Dak was the quarterback of
I'm
Mississippi
about to-
State. Yeah, you look that up for me. And
yeah, I'll look it up.
but I believe he was from Mississippi State. But yeah, I think that the way he coached,
yeah, he
like,
was.
the way
he
he
was.
coaches, he has a bunch of fan support. Like he's really, you know, gets after it, just hardworking. And I mean, but you can't allow 52 points and a half to Samford and expect to lose
Not
your job.
Stanford.
Samford.
Not Stanford. Samford.
Yeah, like Samford and Sons, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not talking about Stanford basically. But I mean, and then you lose to Missouri.
Yeah, Missouri's terrible.
Yeah,
And get
Missouri.
clowned on by their head coach.
Yeah, Eli
Run out
Drinkwitz
the
clowns you.
bed.
Yeah,
May the force be with you.
That was a boss move by him.
I just
Facts.
surprising. I didn't, I kind of called him going, but man, like, and it's that same situation that we were talking about with Sark at Texas. These are his guys. If this
Yeah.
happened in year 1, no big deal. But I think he's in year 3 or 4 at Florida. So these are
he
his.
is.
These are his guys, and he's still got to be like this. But Florida was doing the OG. If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you ain't got a quarterback. That's just the way it is. And they went with, who was it? Richardson and
Emory
Emory
Jones.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
They
neither
both
one,
played bad all year.
neither one of them are very good. I mean, the best quarterback he's had the whole time he's been there was Felipe Franks, and he
Well,
transferred
Kyle
that-
Trask. Kyle Trask.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But Kyle Trask was kind of those one-hit wonder
Yeah, he
kind of
had one good year.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, all of his guys were. Felipe Franks had 1 year, good year at Florida, and turned that into a year at Arkansas. So, I mean, what is it really? But back to that coaching carousel. So Florida, coach Dan Mullen, bye-bye. LSU, Ed Orgeron, see you later.
See ya, pizza.
USC, Clay Helton, finally, they got rid of him. He's been on the hot seat for what feels like 5 years, gone. Miami, the University of Miami, fired their athletic director, Blake James, so I'm sure Manny Diaz is following him out the door. I mean, I could only imagine. I think they're 5-6 as well. So
Yeah.
you would expect that Manny Diaz gone. This is all speculation on Miami. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, we'll still talk about it. Texas, we talked about. Y'all think he's staying where he's at.
Yeah, I think so.
But just hypothetically, imagine a year where Florida, LSU, USC, Miami, and Texas, all of those jobs are open. Like that is, I mean, you're looking at, especially USC, Miami, Texas, and Florida even, you're looking at like powerhouses, like historical powerhouses of college football. I mean, some people consider Miami, like those early 2000s Miami teams, the greatest college football teams of all time.
Yeah, it was a dynasty.
Yeah. And
you look 3 years ago or 2 years ago, LSU was considered one of the greatest college football teams of all time.
Greatest college football team. USC in the early 2000s was battling with Texas. USC and Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer. I mean, Mark Sanchez, the butt fumble 9 years ago today. I mean, just how about that?
But also, as of recent though,
all
and
of
I
these
think y'all
teams
agree with
except
me.
for LSU has been bad.
Yeah, and not only that, like within these last 10 years, I'd say all of these jobs, have kind of been where people, I mean, they've just been like a pit stop. Like people have come here for 2 or 3 years.
It's a carousel itself.
Haven't been successful and have gotten fired, gotten the boat.
Yeah, and we've talked
They're hot
about
jobs.
Just us three just talking. Like it seems like all of these types of places, Florida, LSU, SC, Miami, Texas, are places that aren't giving their coaches enough time. They come because you expect to be good. You're USC. You expect to be one of the best teams in college football, like all the time. And if they come in and they give their coach 2 or 3 years to try and do it, well, he can't even get his own guys in the building. And then, they bring in a new guy and he gets the exact same treatment. Nobody can ever even get their own recruits under their wing. So it's
a never-ending process.
It's a never-ending process. They need to give, like Texas gave Charlie Strong, 1 year to try to figure it out?
I think 2 years.
A year or
Lost
two,
Kansas,
maybe. I think a year and a half. Yeah, I think he maybe got fired mid-year.
He got fired right after they lost Kansas.
Yeah. I mean, LSU, let's not forget LSU, not even less than 2 years ago, was the greatest college football team of all time.
And at that time, LSU, the Tiger fans loved Ed Orgeron. They did.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the most loved guy in the state of Louisiana.
He's the encapsulation of the state of Louisiana.
Yeah,
like
hometown hero.
Yeah, he is the guy. I mean, you can't understand anything he says unless you live in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. You know? So, I mean, and that was like 18 games ago. And he's gone I know he's like 7-11 in 18 games, but still, I mean, you just got to I don't understand it. Miami hasn't been good since They had 1 year a few years ago where they were
They-
like 11-1,
sto-
had a chance to make college football playoff. I think they lost on Thanksgiving week to be exact to Notre Dame, and they haven't been good since. You forgot about them. And who was their quarterback? Nikosi Perry. I don't even remember who their quarterback was.
I think it
But-
was that mixed kid. I forget his name.
I don't remember who it was, but Texas, like we said, it's been since 2010 since they were good. Florida, just about. I mean, they won the 08 national championship against Oklahoma. They beat Sam Bradford, and Oklahoma would have beat them if DeMarco Murray didn't get hurt, but that's another story. But speaking of this, James Franklin at Penn State, who I thought could have been a candidate for any of these jobs, was 10-year deal today. Penn State said, nah, you ain't going nowhere.
Locked him up.
They locked him up. So if you could just, who do you think hot candidates are for this job? Like the LSU one right now is linked to Lincoln Riley hardcore. Like that is the one
I've
guy
been seeing that.
that they are
And
putting to
92
the LSU
million?
job. Yeah. 8
92
year,
million?
96. 12 mil a
96.
year. $12 million a year to go to LSU. And he's come out just like he does every single year when any job opening comes up. He has said, I ain't going. I mean, I'm not leaving Oklahoma. I've got to. And I think his goal is truly to win a national championship. And I think the day he wins a national championship, he may sign his resignation letter. I mean, I think that's his only goal at Oklahoma. But I don't see him taking this LSU job. What about y'all?
I really don't either. I don't see the point of it.
I think
Especially if
he's
they're
got,
going to the SEC.
yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
got all the stability in the world right now. Like, I don't think his job is under pressure at all. As long
No,
as he
not
can
at
keep
all.
winning, he's about to leave the Big 12. That may change when he goes to the SEC, but if he keeps winning Big 12 championships, you ain't getting rid of him, because they just know that right now they're not on that. They're trying to get to that level of
They're not that caliber.
Alabama, Georgia, LSU of a couple years ago. Like they're not there yet. They're right below it, but they're just not there yet. So, the Miami job, all I've heard about it is Mario Cristobal, Oregon's head coach. And, and then if he leaves, that opens up another huge job. I mean, Oregon is a huge job in college football right now. So, I mean, I just wanted to get this out. I don't know who's going to take that Florida job. Actually, you know who I've seen to the Florida job? Bob Stoops.
That
Bob
wouldn't
Stoops is
surprise
the
me.
leading candidate to the Florida job right now.
Is
That would
he
surprise
wanting
me.
to get back in coaching?
And they actually asked him, I think, last week on Big Noon Kickoff, and he said, for the first time since leaving Oklahoma, he was rumored to be the Ohio State head coach, the USC head coach. He actually said, this one intrigues me. The Florida job intrigues him. So,
That's
mean,
interesting.
Bob Stoops at Florida, I mean, I think he could be the guy to turn him around. Imagine that. Bob Stoops against Lincoln Riley, Florida against
That'd be
Oklahoma.
pretty cool.
That'd
That'd
be
be-
pretty. That's pretty
You
cool.
know.
I don't think OU fans could be mad at him for taking that job. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I'd like to see the guy have success somewhere else.
I truly think the reason he retired was he wanted to watch his boys' senior year and then watch them play college football. And I think his boys are seniors, correct? Or Drake is a senior.
Drake's a senior. I
Yeah,
think.
Isaac
Yeah.
doesn't play anymore, but I believe Drake is a senior. So why not? Why not go? I mean, he's what? I don't even think he's 60 years old, is he? Maybe 60.
I don't think he's 60.
I don't think he's
If
60.
he's 60, he looks good for 60. No homo
Yeah.
on that though.
So, and you see a lot. I mean, Nick Saban's 70 something. So, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of these guys can coach until they're 70. So he still may have 15 years in him, So why not go take another job, especially if you can get a job like the Florida job? So
I'm going to throw this out there real quick. As an Oklahoma State fan, I think y'all would agree with me on this. I think Jim Knowles is the best coordinator in the Big 12. Best, regardless of offense or defensive coordinator. You think he's getting the national attention for any of these jobs? You think he's on anyone's radar for any of these jobs, any of these big time jobs? Because he's been a head coach. He's been a head coach, I believe, at some Ivy League school, and he wasn't very successful. This is like really his only first successful job. I mean, he was at Duke for a little bit. He was DC at Duke for a little bit, and they were all right. But
I just don't think he's a big enough name yet.
I'd
I think
agree.
maybe a few
I
more
think-
years at Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
doing
if he
this-
can continue this dominant run with his defense, yeah, but not right now. I don't
Yeah,
think.
I think maybe even,
on
you
a
know,
defense. No.
if he can go another year of doing that at Oklahoma State, it's just harder for defensive coordinators to get these head coaching jobs because they can't be as flashy. Like there can be an offensive coordinator that's revolutionizing the game of football, and they get a job as a head coach, and then they're terrible. I just think it's a little bit harder for a DC to really, especially when they're older. Isn't Jim Knowles is
Jim Knowles
older?
He's been everywhere.
Yeah. So it's not like he's this young hotshot DC, but he's doing a really good job at Oklahoma State. So he does another year, maybe 2 years. I could easily see him getting. I'm afraid it's same as you. I think that Alex Grinch, ever since he came to Oklahoma, he's been a head coaching candidate. Even though he's not doing the greatest job, he was at Ohio State. He was at Washington State. Those years they were good. I just think he's one of those young names that people like.
Yeah.
Valid.
Not necessarily because he's the greatest defense coordinator. I think he's one of those guys that they like to see as a motivator and stuff like that, more than his actual success on the field. And, kudos to Knowles at OSU, because it's really hard to play defense in the Big 12. It's really hard to play defense in the Big 12. And he's, the thing is at Oklahoma State, they're finally getting the athletes, the guys that can match up, where Oklahoma's still got dudes that are too small, not fast enough. Oklahoma State's got the guys to play defense right now. And I like it a lot. But next up, like I said, this is an all college football episode. Next up, we're going to make some picks, and then we're going to get out of here. All right, and we are back. Time to make some picks, fellas. It's been a while since we've made some picks. We haven't had a show on a Thursday in a while. I figured this week, also happy Thanksgiving. For most of you people listening, it'll be around Thanksgiving time.
Happy Turkey Day, boys.
Turkey Day.
And girls.
Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of the year. I don't know about you boys, but
Thanksgiving food is overrated.
No, not wrong.
Hot take real quick. Thanksgiving food's overrated.
No. Thanksgiving,
Don't
best
have me on
holiday
that,
of the year. Best holiday of the year.
Facts.
Disrespectful.
So best holiday of the year. Followed by probably the best weekend of college football, rivalry week. So we're gonna get right to it. Bedlam, Oklahoma, at Oklahoma State. I'll let Jack start. Who you got?
You know who I got. Is that a question? You know who I got. I got the Pokes. And in a fairly low-scoring game, I'm going to go 27-13 OSU. I just think OU is really not going to be able to get anything going on offense. I don't even think OSU's offense really has to play good necessarily. I just think they'll keep OU's offense off the field. I mean, I bet a lot of 3-and-outs, I think, is what we're going to see. OU really won't be able to get nothing going unless Caleb Williams plays like he did against Texas. But OSU's defense a little bit different than Texas's defense. I mean, Texas let KU throw up 47 on
57.
57.
Ross.
Incorrect.
Yeah. I said it earlier. I think OU will score a little bit more than that. I'd say I got OSU winning 31-17-ish. I think it'll be relatively low scoring. I think
that's big.
Yeah, it is. OU,
I mean, both y'all have them up by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. But who will have a good day? Have a day? John Paul Richardson. No, I'm kidding. I'm playing with y'all. Yeah, I'm playing with y'all. But no, I think RD will have a great day on Saturday. I'm really excited for this game. But go Pokes. I got Pokes in this one.
All right. I guess I'll go last. I got Pistols firing. Just playing with y'all.
What?
Just playing with y'all. Them Clowns, though. No, I got Oklahoma 28-24. I got them,
in a close one.
And I got them scoring a defensive touchdown. I think they can muster up 21 points on the offensive side, and then Spencer Sanders, he will come back to form, which means he will throw an interception, and it might get returned to the house. So I got a defensive touchdown.
Who's going to return it, though?
Jalen Redmond. How about that? He's going to get picked off by D lineman.
Hey, I'm going to say this. I think we see Spencer Rattler this week. No cap on that, though. I think we see Spencer Rattler.
Let me say this. What? I think we might see Gunner because how much we're up by. We might see Gunner.
Gunner versus Spencer battle.
Do what?
No, not real.
I think Gunner's going to come in.
No, 28-24 Sooners, taking this one easily. Not even gonna be close. It's gonna be 28-0. And OSU's just gonna come back, make it 24. Nah, I think it'll be close, and I think this will be a good game, and then we'll hopefully get it. I mean, if OU wins, we'll get it back to back, and we'll be having this conversation again in a couple weeks. But next up, the other OSU. They call themselves
The other.
the Ohio State. They're the other to us. Ohio State traveling to Ann Arbor, like we said earlier, to play Michigan. We kind of talked about it earlier. I'll go first. I've got Ohio State. I got Ohio State big, 42-28 by 2 touchdowns. I don't think Michigan's going to be able to stop them. 18-3, I think, will be their record over the last 21 meetings after Sunday or after Saturday. So I got 42-28 Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm going to follow you. I got Ohio State 44-17, big. Travion Henderson, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith, legit, but it's too much.
Ross?
I'm going to have to go against y'all. I got Go Big Blue, the Michigan Wolverines. It's in Ann Arbor, the big house. Place is going to be rocking. Shout out Big Dave Portnoy, Barstool guy. I think the Big Blue will win this one. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think that's really what's going to have to come down. Michigan's going to have to get a lot of stops, and I think they will with those two studs off the end. I think the final score will be 24-21 Michigan.
Last second field goal going to win it? Time expires?
Yeah.
Well,
we know might get blocked. You never know.
Yeah, I was about to say, how Michigan does with that. They'll screw it up and end up getting a return for a touchdown. Next up, the Iron Bowl. Bama at Auburn. No Bo picks this week. Don't know if that's good or bad for Auburn.
Yeah, that might basically. I don't know if they're for me or against me, but we'll see.
We'll see. No Bo picks. Bama traveling to Auburn. I just forgot what city they're in. I think it's just Auburn. But
Auburn, basically.
I got Alabama by big, 45-21. Bryce Young, I think he puts a stamp on the Heisman Trophy this week. Wins the Heisman Trophy on Saturday afternoon or night, whenever they play. Bama 45-21. He probably throws. I think he throws 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'll take this one.
Yeah,
Jax, I'm gonna second that. I think it's not even gonna be a close game. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna give a score. I just think Bama wins big without Bo Picks playing.
Are we gonna go by my rules? 6 touchdowns? You saying by 6 touchdowns? Big?
I'm not saying 6 touchdowns big, but I say maybe 3+.
Okay.
But yeah, like Briss said, I think Bryce Young's gonna have a good game. They're gonna shut down that Auburn defense, and St. Nicholas will have another win under his belt against Auburn.
Jax, I'm guessing you're going to follow suit.
Not so fast, my friend.
Oh,
it's the Iron Bowl. It's the Iron Bowl. Don't forget that. I believe it's in War Eagle, is it not? It's in War Eagle.
War Eagle.
So, we saw Bama struggle with LSU earlier in the year in a situation like this. LSU's terrible. Big rivalry game. Bama just couldn't put it together. Auburn still has talent. I still believe they're a good football team. And, Bo Picks is out, but I think TJ Finley, the transfer from LSU, is going to get his Cam Newton on, baby. I think he's going to do his best impression of Cam Newton. And I got Auburn in this one. In a close one, I'm going to go 33-28.
33-28. I like it. I hope so. I hope Auburn gets it done. I really do. I really do. Next up, we got Ole Miss. Is this the Egg Bowl? They call this the Egg Bowl. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I believe this is the Egg Bowl. In Starksville, Mississippi State's the home team. Ole Miss ranked number 9 in the country. Who y'all got? I'll let y'all go. I'll let one of y'all go first.
I'll take it. I got Ole Miss in this one. Matty Ice, Matt Corral has been my favorite quarterback all year. Besides, if you say Spencer Sanders, but Spencer Sanders is pretty dog water. But Matty Ice, I loved him since the get. Dude's a boss. I think Ole Miss will win big in this one. I haven't really got to watch Mississippi State this year. I don't even know what the record is, to be honest. But Ole Miss ranked at 9. I think they'll win. And I'll give a score of, I say 34-14.
Watch.
By big.
Serena Williams, Wonder Woman. Serena Wonder Woman.
The what?
What'd you say that score was?
34-14.
34-14 Ole Miss. Jax, who you got?
I'm gonna go Ole Miss as well. Big. I'm gonna say Ole Miss 6 touchdowns.
Oh wow.
Just say that.
Ole
6
Miss
Winning
6
big.
touchdowns.
Big.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss 6 touchdowns. That may be a little bit embarrassing if that happens. I'm trying to look right now at Ole Miss, Mississippi State 7-4, but Mississippi State is favored in this game, surprisingly enough. 1.5 points favored. 1.5 point favorites. With that being said, give me the home team, the Bulldogs, Mississippi State. I need Ole Miss to lose, so I'm going Mississippi State. 35-31. Lane Kiffin's on his way out, by the way. Lane Kiffin's taking one of those jobs we talked about earlier. We didn't talk about him, but
Goes back to SC.
I think he goes to LSU. I think he takes a job at
Goes to a
LSU.
little NCAA 14 FIU.
Yeah, FAU.
Shout out Jax.
FAU.
Yeah.
Or FAU.
So that game, Jack says Ole Miss by 6 touchdowns. Correct. I wrote that down correctly.
Yeah, you
Ole
heard
Miss
it
by
right.
6.
You heard it
Ole
right, my
Miss
boy.
by 6 touchdowns. Okay.
Bing bong.
Yeah, basically. And our last game we're gonna pick. This one's not as much of a rivalry game, but this one means a lot. Baylor wins, and they're in the Baylor wins. Oklahoma loses. They're in the Big 12 championship. They're playing Texas Tech and Donovan Smith. Who y'all got? Texas Tech at Baylor.
I'll go Baylor. I think it's probably gonna be closer than it should be, just because I don't know. I think Baylor's probably looking over the heads of these guys. But yeah, I think Baylor will beat them. I'm gonna go 24-10, 24-14 actually, 24-14.
24-14. Ross, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd agree with Jax. I think after watching this weekend, OSU dominate Tech. I don't think Baylor has as good a defense as we do, but Tech was pretty awful this week. Their quarterback, it seemed like every play threw it at least 20 yards downfield. It didn't complete a single one. Maybe got a PI on one, but I got Baylor in this one, and I'll say 31-7. It's a big one.
31-7 Baylor. Wow, that's large. This game is at 11 a.m. It's a morning kick. So they're going to be waiting all day long if they win to see what Oklahoma State ends up being. I'm with Jax. I think Baylor wins. I think they end up winning bigger than what Jax said, but I do think that this could very well be a trap game, very well be looking ahead, seeing if they make the Big 12 championship game. I think Baylor still gets the job done because, like Ross said, Donovan Smith looked awful last week. I got Baylor 49-28. 49-28 over Texas Tech. I mean, they didn't score a point last week. So, I know OSU's defense is, different. But, I mean, that was, I think, Oklahoma State's first shutout since, 2011 against –
No, it was
like
1995.
1995. I knew it was a long time ago, but it was against Popcorn State. It was against
Savannah State.
Yeah, 1995 against Savannah State. So I think Baylor wins 49-28, and then they're going to be waiting all day long to see who wins between the Sooners and the Cowgirls. And they are the Cowgirls.
Come on,
wow.
They are the
Go on.
Cowgirls. That's what I'm gonna call them all day on Saturday, and that's what they are, Cowgirls.
I'm raw.
Yeah, we're all. So that's all we got for tonight. I said we were going to talk all about college football, and that's all we talked about was college football. We are going to continue to talk. We're going to try to do, we even in the works talking about maybe doing a live
A little
YouTube
Saturday.
show or something, of if it'd be really cool if it is OSU again for the Big 12 championship game to do it then, do live watch party with us three. And then also we wanted to do a live reaction to if, Oklahoma or Oklahoma State has a chance to make that Final Four, that college football playoff, do one then. So we'll definitely let y'all know if we end up doing something like that so y'all can join and, be involved. But you continue to follow us on Facebook and YouTube, Below Average Brothers, Twitter at Below Average Brothers, Instagram or Twitter at Below Average Brothers, Instagram _ Below Average Brothers. We're continuing to try to get content out, continue to make picks. We enjoy that when you guys make picks right along with us. It's been a while since we've made them, it feels like, on the show. So I'll be posting that graphic probably tomorrow, as well as the podcast, will come out. We're recording on Tuesday. It'll come out on Wednesday. So y'all continue to listen, and we'll continue to put stuff out. And good night, everybody.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.